Hello, this is part 3 of getting started with Wix. And if you haven't seen part 2 and part 1, then go see them if you're interested. So, in part 1, we saw what was Wix Editor. And then in part 2, we saw what was Wix Editor X, and we saw what was Wix ADI. But today, we are going to compare those three. We are going to see which one is the best for your website if you want to do a design, or if you want to do some more things with content manager and all those things. And this thing here, I'm gonna put it in the description below, or in the description of this video, or and on a pinned comment of this video. All those things here, all Wix website builders, and the link to go to each of them: Wix Editor, Wix Editor X, and Wix ADI. So let's start by saying that in which one can you use the content manager function. If you didn't know, Wix has a function called content manager. But that function can only be used in two, like Wix has 3 of those mini website builders, right? Plus has 3 of those mini website builders, and you can only use that in the principal one, that is the one that most people use, the Wix Editor one, or in Wix Editor X. Now, which one is better? How I told you in the part 2, you can, there are no really, better or not better. It's just that if you want, I prefer to use Wix Editor instead of Wix Editor X, because Wix Editor, what is important is the functions, right? And on Wix Editor X, you can do many functions too. They still work, all the functions. But it's hard to add them. And Wix Editor X, what has is so many design, but so many design. And for me, what I need is the functions. So for me, it's better Wix Editor than Wix Editor X or Wix ADI. But what happens if you are doing a Wix ADI website and you want to add a content manager and you cannot add it? What you have to do is transfer the Wix ADI website to a Wix Editor website. You cannot transfer it to Wix Editor X website, but you can transfer it to Wix Editor website, that is the principal one. Yeah, you can. And maybe you will be saying, can you please show us how to add how to transfer the Wix ADI site to a Wix Editor site. Can you please show us? No, I'm not gonna show you right now. Guess why? Because I already showed you in part 2. So you can go see part 2 and you will see this there. The thing where I showed you how to transfer Wix ADI site to Wix Editor site. And this thing here says your big idea. I'm just gonna change it to Wix editor versus Wix editor X versus Wix ADI. And okay, just and now, in which one can you add apps? Well, you can add apps on Wix Editor X, and Wix ADI. Okay, but in Wix Editor you can add all the Wix apps. Now, in Wix Editor X, you can add almost all of the Wix apps, but there are some like 5 of them, or like 5 of them or whatever that you cannot use. There are there are apps that you cannot use in Wix Editor X. Well, not 5 more, but there are some there that you cannot really they don't really work. You cannot really download them. And now in Wix ADI, you can really just add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and that's all. And there are more. There are more. In Wix Editor X, in Wix ADI 15, then in Wix Editor X not 5, and I didn't know there were so many. Maybe in Wix Editor X, maybe they're just there are just 5 of them that you cannot use out of all the Wix apps. There are maybe 10 of them, I don't know. There are some that you cannot use in Wix Editor X. So if what you want is just add many apps to that, I'm just gonna recommend you Wix Editor, right? But you can use either of them. I'm just giving you ideas in this video. For example, Wix ADI, Wix Editor X, Wix ADI. For example, in Wix ADI, you cannot download apps that are not from Wix, original from Wix Inc. or Wix LLC or whatever. You cannot download Wix original. You can only download Wix original apps, and some of them, just 15 of the Wix original apps. And in Wix Editor, you can add all of them. And in Wix Editor X, there are some that you cannot download, but maybe they will be updating it soon. Okay, so which one is better for professional design? Which one is better for that? For professional design, I will say that in Wix Editor X, in Wix Editor, and in Wix ADI, in the 3 of them, you can do design, but because design is just design. Design can be just only a color, but another thing is professional design. Just do your professional design. Although what is better for me is the functions, not the design. But if what you want is just so professional design to get people surprised, just try out Wix Editor X. Yeah. Let's just 30 and this one. Let me wait a second. Oh no there. Okay, it's okay. Okay, Han. Okay, this one I am gonna duplicate it. Which one is better for I'm just gonna leave it like that because what we are doing right now is just doing like a repeat of all the things that we learned in part 2. We are just repeating those things that we learned in part 1 and in part 2, but just like asking some questions in a Google Slides. So we're just gonna stop doing this for right now. And I want to tell you that the one I highly recommend you is Wix Editor. Like you saw it in part 1. You see it has so many more functions, right? Here. And well, in this part, maybe I said in the second part I was gonna show you the content manager function, but I didn't. So, I think I'm just gonna end this video, and I think I'm gonna show you that in part 4, but I'm gonna do part 4 soon, okay? So please don't be like waiting when is the content manager thing. I'm gonna do part 4 soon, and if not part 4, then part 5. But in this series, I will put an episode of that. I will really put an episode of that. I just have to get kind of ready and everything. I'm already ready. Maybe in the 4th part I will do it. And well, I think bye. This was all the video. That's the thing I repeat in each video.